In this video, we're going to talk about minimum protein intake. There is this concept, this idea, this drum that is beaten in certain circles that you never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, ever, never need more than 150 grams of protein per day. Before we address that topic, guys, I encourage you to check out my new book called Massive Iron. It is linked below. It is a strength and muscle building book for guys during their first several years of training. If you're unsatisfied with your results, please check out my book. Now let's talk about the protein intake drum that is beaten. I've seen this many times over the years. You may not have come across this dogma, this belief yet, but you probably will sometime in the future if you stick around. It goes like this. Never, under any circumstances, will you ever need more than 150 grams of protein per day to build muscle if you're natural. Elliot, have you heard, I'm sure you've heard this passed around several times. I just want to get your opinion on this belief.
Well, I'm always a little bit skeptical when I hear ultimatum statements such as never ever, because you have to take, I think one thing that's always important in especially health and fitness subculture is to always take context into consideration. So to say that nobody would ever need more than 150 grams of protein per day, that would just seem kind of laughable to me, and the research would also argue against it, especially for athletes. It's pretty hard to say that not an athlete in this world can benefit from more than 150 grams of protein, because there are athletes that weigh well up into the 200 and 300 pound ranges that could need 300 grams of protein a day. So I have to say that it's kind of ridiculous.
Let's go beyond just the muscle building for a second. Even if it were true that you never needed more than 150 grams of protein per day to build muscle, let's talk about dietary balance. Most of the a good portion of the people watching are younger lifters. They probably need more than 3,000 calories a day to grow. When I was younger, I could eat all day long and I barely gained weight. So I was probably eating 3,500, 4,000 calories a day. You probably eat close to that.
Yeah.
Do you consider, in that case, where you're eating 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day, do you consider eating only 150 grams of protein to be a balanced approach?
No way, because then you'd be eating 500 grams of carbs and probably 100 grams of fat, and I can run the math. But anyways, it would put a lot of the emphasis on eating more carbs and fats, and I think it would almost be, you'd have a really imbalanced diet if that ended up
Yeah, I mean, it can get pretty sickening. When I was younger, I was very carb reliant. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, the early muscle building years. And I was just cramming ramen, I was cramming rice, I was cramming potatoes. And it was to the point where I just didn't want to eat anymore. So my belief is, you want to balance that a little bit. I'd prefer to see you bring the fats up just a little bit, because most lifters tend to undereat fat a little more. And what's it going to hurt to bring up the protein intake 50 to even 75 grams a day, just for the sake of eating a few less carbs per day? Mm-hmm. One point I'd like to leave you guys with is this minimalistic notion. When it comes to successful athletes, when it comes to successful bodybuilders, successful powerlifters, successful sports competitors, whatever endeavor they're involved with, they don't seek what is the minimum I can do to be successful. They don't get up every day and say, what is the minimum I can do to be successful? I want to prove my dogma to the world that I can do the most minimalistic thing and still be successful. They are seeking to push the envelope, to do more. They aren't asking themselves, what is the minimum I can do? They're probably, they're not going to ride that fine line. You know what I'm saying?
They're probably going to say, what's the most I can do? Or I guess I shouldn't say that, but I would hope that most of them are looking to optimize.
Yeah, they're looking to find out what is what is a more optimal way for me to eat. They're not going to ask, what is a minimal.
Yeah, no, that doesn't
They're not going to ask what's the minimum. They don't.
What's
they're-
the least I can do?
Yeah, they're not getting up every day asking what's the least amount of training I can do to be successful.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, the bowl. Sometimes you hear on the forum, guys are asking what's the minimum protein I can eat, what's the minimum training I can eat. I just don't believe that's a mindset for success.
No, because you'll hear guys that say they only train once or twice a week too, and that they think that's optimal. And it's like, I don't know, because there's guys that train 5 or 6 times a week that make great progress. So you can't really,
If that's you and you want to eat 150 grams of protein a day and be like Mike Mentzer and only train one every 18 to 21 days, fine, have at it.
go for it.
I'm not saying it won't work. I'm not saying it can't work. What I'm saying is that's not the mindset of a successful football player, a successful power lifter, or a successful bodybuilder.
I would agree.
So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, there's a link below to a Q&A. Come on over, ask me any questions you want on strength training, muscle building, diet, nutrition, supplementation, or motivation. And again, I ask that you please consider checking out my book called Massive Iron, linked below. If you're unsatisfied with your muscle and strength building results, this book will help get you on track. So guys, as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.